Hey there, how's it going? My name is Keegan Kirk. I do tarot readings here on YouTube. If you are new here, it's nice to meet you. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. I hope that you get lots of guidance and insight from whatever comes out in the reading today. I do want to talk to you guys just really quickly about a couple of things. It's not going to take long. Please don't skip ahead. There's not going to be a mid-roll ad, so please just bear with me as I talk to you about this. It'll mean a lot to me if you don't skip ahead. First thing I want to talk to you guys about are personal readings for February. I'm still offering special prices for my recorded readings. So that's 30 minutes for $45, 60 minutes for $75. You send me your questions in advance. I record your reading and I send it to you. I'm also starting something brand new. I've never offered this before. For the entire time that I've been on YouTube, it's probably the most requested thing from people. And I've not done it until now. But starting in February, I'm going to do live one-on-one sessions, which means you will have a specific day and time that you and I connect one-on-one live. You can ask me whatever you want. I'll pull cards. We can talk about things. If you want me to look more deeply into something, if you want me to change directions, if you have specific things that come through that you want me to explore, you'll have full control over that session. That'll be a 60-minute session with me. It's priced at $150. If you are interested in doing a reading with me, all you have to do is send an email to keegantarot@gmail.com to book that reading. And I look forward to hearing from those of you who want to do personal readings with me in February. I'm super excited to see who takes advantage of the live sessions because I know lots of you have asked me to do those. For the February general reading spread, I'm going to be taking a look at areas where you might need to deal with some blocks. So we're going to take a look at the most urgent need, then we'll look at spiritual, emotional, and mental blocks, and then we'll take a look at any unseen factors that you might not even be aware of. So that's for the general reading, the one that you're watching now. Now I will be doing an extended reading for channel members, and in that reading, I'm actually just going to use oracle cards and a few tarot decks to get messages through from your spirit guides, your ancestors, and your higher self pertaining to the blocks and the information that comes out in the general reading. Now, I've had lots of people ask me how to become a channel member because YouTube makes it a little bit complicated. So I just want to walk you guys through that really quickly. So if you go to YouTube and you search for my channel, if you click on a PC on my channel, the easiest way to join is to click that join button. It's going to bring up this that you see. You can click join. It takes you through the entire process. It's much more complicated to do on your phone. Now, I will put a link in the description box below that will also allow you to take a look, to click through, to try on your phone. But I'm just telling you, it's so much easier if you can do it from a web browser or use a browser on your phone to sign up. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I walked you through those things. We are going to go ahead and go right into the general reading now. I've put up a reminder here for you so you can just have a reminder of what the spread is. I will walk you through that as we explore the cards. Okay, Pisces, let's dive into this and take a look at what's going on here. So the cards in the center represent the most urgent need that's coming through. Dead center here, you have the Two of Cups, and on top of that, you have the Five of Coins with the Queen of Swords right below it. All three of these cards are showing up right here. Let's talk about this Two of Cups. This feels good to me. There are some concerns around this relationship, but the relationship itself feels like it feels very connected. It feels very like flirtatious and romantic to me. There's a real bond between these two people, and it's authentic. And I think both people are aware of this connection as well. This doesn't feel like a situation where something's unrequited. It doesn't feel like a situation where one person's more engaged than the other. In terms of the relationship itself, it feels good. Now, Pisces, I will say there are some concerns here, and they feel like they're more on your side than on the other person's. The Five of Coins, really, to me, the energy from that card feels like there being a discrepancy between how the two of you view the future, specifically around the stability of the future. Meaning, for you, when you daydream or vision or try to manifest the version of the future that you want, there are certain things about it that I would say matter to you and are fairly consistent for you, and that involves like a nice house and stability in terms of like your career and money and having a plan for your future that it's not even like it's showy or big, but it's specific. And this other person doesn't have that same sort of drive or ambition towards that. And I think that that is concerning for you, but it's not so concerning that it's almost like a deal breaker. This Queen of Swords here, this feels like your energy coming in and just saying, look, I don't need someone to take care of me. I can take care of myself. I know what I need to do in order to create the life that I want. The energy with this Queen of Swords is almost like, as long as you don't make it more difficult or more challenging for me, I can do this on my own. But I think there is a little bit of questioning on your part about whether this person might make it more difficult for you, might make it harder for you to really manifest the life that you want. So it's interesting in terms of the most urgent need here, because it really feels like you're trying to make a decision about this. Again, like dead center, the connection's there. The connection with this person is there and it's real. But there is a questioning energy that exists. One thing I will say here as well is that Pisces, I feel like you have some boundaries, some guards that are up here that might be preventing some communication that could potentially resolve this. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to tune into the other person to see what I get from them in terms of their energy. I mean, I do sense that this person is much more like low key, laid back, not as, like, I'm not even going to say they're not as driven, because they are driven in certain aspects of their life. And I think you see that. I think that there are some things that they're very passionate about and very committed to. It's more so that their energy, they're not aligned really to like materialistic things. So for them, they would be fine being in a small apartment with, thrift store furniture and like nothing on the wall. They would be fine with that. But what I will say here in terms of the energy that I was saying, there's some boundaries on your side that I think are getting in the way. If they understand why these things are important to you, if you're willing to open up and talk to them about why it matters to you, like, why does it matter to you that you feel like you have financial stability? Is that because you didn't have that when you were growing up? Was your childhood very chaotic? Were you, did you make a lot of mistakes when you were just like a younger adult and you finally are like, I've cleaned all that stuff up and now I want to be able to, have the reward of putting in the effort to do that? Like, why does it matter to you? Because that does matter to this person, right? Because like I said, the relationship, the connection itself, I feel solid about. So it's almost like you are holding back from opening up about why these things matter, and almost taking this attitude of like, oh, I can do it myself. I don't need you to be part of it. But even if this person isn't actively engaging with you in terms of, let's say they're not going to change their career to triple their income in order to have a big, fancy house. That's not what's going to happen with this person. But that doesn't mean that they still can't support you. Sometimes just knowing that someone is like holding the vision with you is enough. And I say this because, I'm kind of picking up on some energy here. If the person that you're with is just, they're a slacker and they're just taking, and they don't contribute anything, that's not what I'm talking about here. Because this, like I said, the relationship itself that I'm tuning into feels solid. Meaning, if you have a problem, if you have a hard day, this person's there for you. If there are things that need to be done, like you need to run errands, this person is willing to be involved with that. If they're showing me like this might be very specific to one person, but I'm seeing like, you know, like problems with the sink, and this person is fixing the sink. So it's not like they're a slacker in the relationship. This really is a matter of lifestyle differences. What you consider to be the lifestyle that you want, and what they consider to be the lifestyle that's okay with them, that they're fine with, there's a big difference there, okay? This can be solved, this can be addressed by you opening up a little bit more about what it is specifically that you want and why those things matter to you. And I will say here, with this person, again, because they don't have the same drive, they don't have the same need. So it's best if you can articulate why something matters, more so than what it is that you want. Because this person wants you to have whatever it is that you want, but they don't want to have the pressure put onto them for things that they don't feel like they need. So it really is a situation where it's like, if you feel like you want, you know, a 2-car garage and a pool in the backyard and a gated community and, you know, 3 extra bedrooms that you don't really need just in case friends or family come to visit, then those are your wishes. And so they sort of see it like, well, that stuff that you want, I want you to have that stuff, but I'm not going to kill myself to chase after that stuff because it doesn't matter to me. Home, to this person, is really defined more so as like the vibe, the energy, what, you know, having friends over matters more than what the friends are coming over to. Okay. Ultimately, I think this is a big difference. Okay. And I think it comes down to whether or not you, Pisces, can be okay with this person probably not, like, I'm going to do air quotes here, like pulling their weight. But again, it doesn't mean that they don't do anything, right? Because there are ways that they could support you in chasing after what it is that you want. Okay. But this does feel kind of like a big gap. And so we'll see what else comes out in the reading, you know, in terms of taking a look at this. But I don't know. It's a question of whether you're okay kind of carrying most of the load in terms of making that life be a reality for you. Now, these 3 cards up here, these represent spiritual blocks in the way, things that, you know, to pay attention to here. And what's very interesting is the cards that you got. So we have the 6 of Wands upright, the Ace of Wands upright, and then you have the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. It's very interesting to me because, again, what we picked up on in the center, okay, there's a bit of a spiritual block going on here about you just accepting your blessings. And this is why I'm saying, again, like, this person might not necessarily be willing to, you know, take on a second job or work extra hours or even like do a job that they hate in order to help make this reality happen. But I will say this person probably is able to manifest things that they want, things that are important to them. They're probably able to get them very quickly. So what I'm saying, like, this person, there are other ways that they can support you. I was kind of talking about this a little bit already because you have so much potential in front of you. You know, the 6 of Wands and the Ace of Wands together in that combo, it just means that if you can connect to what it is that you want, what it is you, like the passion, the emotion behind it, right? So you have to connect not to the thing, right? Not to the house. It's so interesting because it's how I just described the other person, right? Instead of like scrolling through like Zillow and looking at like real estate postings or, you know, driving through neighborhoods and looking at the big houses and just kind of looking at it from this perspective of a thing, right? If you can instead, yeah, you can have whatever style house that you want, but when you think about it, you have to add in like the desire. Like, imagine yourself, you know, the first, you know, major holiday or having birthdays or having family gatherings there. Imagine, you know, sitting in the house that you want. Actually envision yourself like coming out of the kitchen and sitting down on the sofa in the living room, and everything's decorated the way that you want. You have to put yourself into that, right? Because you're able to manifest it. You're able to manifest it. This Seven of Pentacles to me feels almost like consistently in your life, you've had to put in a lot of hard work, put in, like, your dreams have always felt like they're, I'm not going to say like just out of your reach, because you have achieved things. So it's not like every time you're like, oh, I get so close and then I can't have it, because you have achieved things. But it almost feels more like you're constantly having to chase after things. And there's an energy that I'm picking up on that just feels like, like I just did it. When you think about something, like you set your mind to something. Okay, so I'm going to use just a random analogy, right? You decide you're going to run a marathon. I feel like most of you are not wanting to run a marathon, but I'm just using that as an example, right? So, but let's say you were excited and you're like, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm putting that's been on my bucket list, and I'm going to run a marathon this year. And you get very determined and excited about it, which is good energy. But then it's like what I did a second ago, where you're like, it's gonna be so much work, and I'm gonna have to find a trainer, and I'm gonna have to go to the gym. I'm gonna have to, like, you just get very like regimented in terms of the planning of it, and you put all of these like obstacles and things in your path that if you could shift the energy around it. So instead of thinking about all the things that you have to do, just realize, like, someone who's going to run a marathon, yeah, there are things that they have to do. I accept that. But then envision yourself the first time that you beat your, the distance record of how far you've been able to go before. Imagine yourself the day of the race feeling super excited. Imagine yourself running along with people, seeing your friends in the crowd. Like, the visioning aspect of it and connecting to the emotion, the desire, because why is it that you want to run the marathon? Is it because you're wanting to get healthier? If so, are there other ways you could get healthy? Yeah, so why are you choosing a marathon? What is it about it? If it is something that you've always wanted to do, and again, marathon is just an example that I'm using. It could be buying a house. It could be taking a huge vacation. It could be moving to another country, whatever it is. Yeah, there's always going to be like tasks and things that you have to accomplish in order to get there, but you have to keep yourself in the energy of manifesting, pulling in that desire, focusing on the desire. And that's something that's coming through here as a block, because all of that stuff is very spiritual in nature, connecting to the why we want something and how it would feel to have it, and almost like practicing gratitude for it before we've even received it, because we know it's coming and we're so thankful for it. And you can do those sorts of mental exercises and it will help. And this other person in this relationship is naturally very talented at that. So that's an area where they can really help you with something that's a block in your way, that could make this not be as big of a deal. Okay? So emotional blocks here. This just really, these two cards for me, the Three of Wands and the Eight of Cups, this feels to me like that confusion I was talking about on your part, Pisces. The Three of Wands here is, it's frustration, basically because part of you does want to have a partner, have a connection with someone who will do all those things I talked about earlier, right? Who will go and drive around the nice neighborhoods, or who will spend hours looking at like real estate listings, or looking at, inspiration boards, or looking at furniture. Part of you really wants to have that connection with the person that you're ultimately going to share that space with. And there is part of you, I will say here, that is You might not be in a space where you can be honest with yourself about this, but there is part of you that's thinking about like, no, maybe I should see if there's someone who is better geared towards what it is that I want. Like maybe it would be more fun. Maybe it would be better if I had someone who was in this with me. Right? But what's very interesting to me is that this is the Hermit. It's reversed here. And this feels to me almost like you're just throwing in the towel on this thought. It's like, well, yeah, maybe, but I'm with this person and does this really matter? And that question, you can only really answer that question yourself, right? It's like I said, I think there are ways that this person can contribute to the ultimate goal. I think that there are ways that this person is really good for you. But it might also be true that you would feel better if you had someone who was picking out the floors and thinking about paint colors. And that is something that matters to you. If it is something that matters to you, this person's not into that, and you know that. This person doesn't care about those things. So I do think emotionally you're kind of like avoiding thinking about it too much. And I think for some of you, that is just because you have this feeling of, why am I focusing on this? It doesn't really matter because I know this person is good. I know this person is who I want to be with. And I can do this on my own. I don't need this other person to do it. But for others of you, it's almost like you're avoiding it because you don't want to admit that like this is a bigger deal for you than maybe you've let on that it is. And again, like that's up to you, but you have to make a decision. You can't stay in this like avoidant energy, mostly because it starts to cause, like if you stay in this energy for too long with this Hermit, it puts distance between you and the other person. It puts distance between you and the future that you're wanting to create. Because if you're wanting to manifest this amazing future, but you have these fears and hesitations that are holding you back, you're never really fully engaged in manifesting it because it's a fear, it's a concern, it's a worry versus something that you're super excited about. There's a theme coming through here in terms of like the energy that you're putting out into trying to manifest this future that you say you want. It's not aligning. Okay. Now let's talk about this a little bit because we're going to look at mental blocks. Page of Pentacles. Hopefully you can see this. It's a really reflective card. Six of Cups. And then the Four of Swords. Okay. Let's talk about this Four of Swords first. What I would recommend for you, just to be able to get out of your head about this a little bit, is to take a break. Take a break from doing all of the activity around things. Take a break from the planning. Just, even if it's just a week, like don't look at listings, don't think about, just take a break from it. Here's what I think is really important. The Six of Cups, it's a good card. The Six of Cups usually is a good card here. I think one of the things that's really important though, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, is to have the conversations that need to happen here. You have to be able to explain why things are important to you. And I think doing this as an exercise on your own first before trying to talk to the other person about it is going to be necessary because there are things that I think you aren't even sure about in terms of why things are the way that they are for you. And I think if you spend some time thinking about this stuff, there might be things that you just let go of where you realize, and again, I don't know why this is what popped into my head, but it's like, you think about, oh, I want this really, really amazing backyard, fully landscaped with a pool, and then you're like, why does that matter to me? Why do I need that? And you might honestly just have this flash of just feeling like, um, a connection with like your inner child, and it's this inner child wanting this thing because, um, I don't know, like they felt embarrassed they didn't have it when they were in school. And when people came over, they were like, oh, you don't have a pool. And as an adult, you're like, well, that's a dumb reason to be wanting that. Or you might say, oh, well, yeah, inner child, I can totally give you that because I'm the Queen of Swords and I can do whatever I want now as an adult. And so if you want a pool and fancy landscaping, we can make that happen. But you have to sort through that. You have to get clear about what that is. Because when you do that, when you sort through those thoughts and you really clear some of these blocks in terms of the spiritual blocks and the emotional blocks, this Page of Pentacles, that is what happens as a result of it. Right? But right now, all of that drive and ambition towards going after what it is that you want and figuring out how to do it and generating the effort and making things happen, it's kind of cut off. It's kind of blocked. And that's why I think you might be frustrated. Here's one thing that I'm picking up now, kind of going a little bit more into the reading. It could be that you've been frustrated about this relationship because you feel like the differences between the two of you and the things that you want is preventing you from having them. But that's not the thing that's preventing you from having it, because you can have that. You can have whatever it is that you want. You have it connected to the why you want things. And that's what's really going to motivate you. And you have to get clear on that, because again, this other person doesn't, it's not that they don't care, because they want you to have the things that you want, but they're not going to like disapprove of anything that you want, because they know that it's your want. It's the things that you want, that you need. Okay. So the last thing we're going to look at here in this general reading are unseen factors you might not be aware of that might be impacting things here. And then, for those of you who are going to join me for the extended reading, I just want to mention it here. Links below for that in terms of how to sign up to get access to them, and the link to the extended reading itself. And in that reading, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open things up for messages of communication from your spirit guides, your ancestors, and your higher self, specific to this reading and the stuff that's come out here. If you're going to watch that, then I look forward to hanging out with you there. And if you're not, this is where we're going to wrap up on this particular reading, the unseen factors. So I'm not going to necessarily read these as a collective sort of thing. I think that these are actually three distinct things that are coming through here. Three of Swords coming out. Okay, so for some of you, this is not for everybody. Some of you, though, it's going back to this, right? That Three of Wands, Eight of Cups that we talked about. Some of you really are not being honest with yourself about how much this lifestyle difference bothers you. Because okay, so I said I wasn't going to read them together, but in a way I am, because you want someone who is going to like be on a team with you, plan with you, manifest with you, sort of chase after that same sort of thing that you want. Now, the other thing with this Three of Wands, there could be a difference here with you guys specific to children. Like how, and so this Emperor sitting right next to this, so I will just say this person might not want to be a parent. They might not want to like have that responsibility. Or you could just not see eye to eye with this person in terms of like how to raise kids. Like if there are kids in the picture, there's just really drastically different parenting styles, which again would make sense because of the difference in lifestyle. This feels to me like something that maybe you're not considering because you've been so focused on just like the fact that you don't like the same sort of decoration or you don't like the same sort of neighborhoods that you haven't even given thought to like how would that carry over into trying to be a parent or raise children with this person. Be honest with yourself. That's really what I want to say here, that I think is just kind of what has been a theme for me energetically, is you have to avoid projecting outward in terms of like, this person is preventing me, this person's blocking me, the differences between us cause me to not focus on this, I'm not really sure what I want because I'm not sure if this person's going to like, stop all of that stuff and just think about, what do I want? What is it that I want? What's important to me? Then communicate that, share that with this person, and be able to give them reasons why those things are important, even if it is something that feels silly to you. Like, even if you're like, I don't know, I want to be the one in the family that has the flashy house. I want to be the one in the family that hosts holidays because I have room. Like, even if those things feel like they're trivial to you, this person will be like, oh, that makes so much sense because your family's so important to you, or I understand that makes sense because I know those things really matter to you. So how can I help? What can I do to help? But just know, like, it is going to come down to like, you're going to have to make this happen. You're going to have to be able to be the one that's like getting things done. And it doesn't mean you're in it 100% by yourself, because like, as an example, because I think some people are still like, yeah, but what about, yeah, this person's probably not going to go with you to pick out all the paint because they don't care what color the walls are, but they will help you paint the wall. They're not going to make you do that on your own. And I'm using that as an example. They will be engaged in creating that home with you, but the home and what it looks like and feels like is really up to you. And I think if you're honest with yourself and you think about it, that's kind of a relief. But you're almost seeing it as like a bad thing. Okay, for those of you that this stuff was starting to hit home for you, right? Thinking about like, oh wait, maybe there are other areas of this relationship that I haven't really thought about because I've been so focused on these things. There's some other stuff here. Really be honest with yourself about this, because this stuff is like, I feel like it hasn't popped into your mind, or it really hasn't been discussed. You might not even know what this person is like or what they think about in terms of parenting style. Okay, have conversations if you need to about that. So we're going to wrap up here for the general reading. If you're going to join me for the extended, again, all the information is in the description box below. If you're not, then I will see you in a couple of weeks when I do the mid-month check-in for your sign. I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me. And if this resonated with you, take a moment to leave me a comment, give the video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe so that you get notifications when YouTube actually does it, when new videos go out. So I will see you guys either immediately if you're joining me for the extended reading, or in a couple of weeks when we come back here for general readings. Bye. Hey guys, I'm jumping in here at the end of the reading just to let you know that I have joined TikTok. And so if you're interested in following me there, you can find me at Keegan Kirk. And I would love to see you. If you are going to follow me and you're someone who's subscribed to YouTube, or you found me through YouTube, then take a moment just to leave a comment on any of the videos that I've posted on TikTok and say I'm coming from YouTube, just so I know that you're there and I can say hello.